Hey, what is up, guys? Collie C here, and today we're going to be explaining the book vault. Why should you read is the biggest question. A lot of people don't believe reading has any benefit. And look, the way I look at it is half of my life is going to be spent attacking my limitations, lowering my limitations, increasing my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my self-image. And the other half is going to be filling my brain with information. Now, most people, if they don't work on this half of increasing their self-esteem, their self-image of themselves, the way they view themselves, it doesn't really matter about how many books that you read, because all that information is not going to land. It's not going to sink in, because you will never outperform your self-image. Now, how do I know this? Well, I've got this idea from books. And let's go over a little bit of my history, my past. When I was in 2004, fourth grade, for me, that's really awesome. 2001, first grade, 2007, seventh grade. For me, it's easy to remember. When I was a kid, I only read like 4 books when I was like 9 years old. Hank the Cowdog, Tale of Despero, really, kid books. But I encountered a lot of limited beliefs in school because I was a slower learner, and they forced kids to kind of keep up with a certain pace. And for me, I thought I was dumb. I thought I was stupid. And so I didn't really pass a 4th grade reading level. Yes, I just said it. A 4th grade reading level I did not pass for many years. How scary is that? It wasn't until I was 26 years old, which was a few years ago. And I'm 31 now. That's when I started reading again. Now listen, you guys might be thinking, why should I read? I'm illiterate. Well, guess what? You are illiterate, but that doesn't mean you can't get better. That doesn't mean you can't improve. And to this day, I consider myself illiterate. However, I complete about 25 books a year. Now, here's the catch. I do audiobooks. For me, that's a lot easier. For me, I figured that it's better to dive into your strengths than to try to improve your weaknesses. When I was a kid, I was punished for reading, and so it was hard for me I was punished to my room to read, and for me, it was hard to really fall in love with it. But when I was older, I had roommates, I discovered audiobooks. I was able to, I would sneak off and just listen to these books, and guess what? The first year, I completed about 4 books in a year, really slow. Next year, 8 books. Next year, 12 to 15, and then now I complete 25 books on average a year. Now, why read? Again, because I'll give you some little tidbits of why I read. We have computers in our brain. We are robots. I mean, we're not, we're humans, but you want to become a robot. You want to become a smart human. But here's the difference. Again, and I've learned this from a book. If you have all this knowledge, but your limitations are low, you will never outperform your self-image. And one thing that you should do, which I'm going to leave you with today, are action steps. With the book vault, guys, every time you're reading a book and you're getting these nice summaries from me, and if you're catching a glimpse of this on YouTube, we have deep conversations and we go deeper, more insights on the Skool community. For those of you listening to it on the Skool community, hey, prepare, because look, this is what we do. We immediately consume this information and we take action with the knowledge that we have. We take action steps today. That is what you got to do when you're reading these books. You need to be thinking, what can I do today to take action? Now, again, you want to build your mind, because look, robots are taking over soon. Within the next couple years, you're going to be competing with robots, but right now it hasn't happened yet. So we need to compete with other humans. And each book it makes you better at conversations. It adds a little tidbit of knowledge. It helps you make better decisions, because every time you read a book, you're stacking your knowledge base and your principles and your foundations, your concepts into your brain. and you can build concepts of how you should run your life, how you should navigate your life. And when you come across something that perhaps you have a decision to make, you now have a few other books you can now think about to help make better decisions. Remember this, guys. Reading is the habit of billionaires. Never forget. Warren Buffett reads 6 to 8 hours a day, just consuming knowledge. Oh, that sounds boring. Well, dude, you know how much of an edge he has? He is a multi-billionaire. Now, again, it's not, I understand. Look, we're not here to compare, whatever. Just reading alone is most likely, I would say, the biggest contributor to his success, I would say. And a couple other things he's been doing too since he's been a young kid. Compounding and investing since he was like 10. But regardless, the most successful people I see, they've read at least 1,000 books. Like, what? How many books have you read, right? Again, most people have read more books than me, but I've changed my life. I went from 9 years old to 26 reading 4 books, and now I read 25 a year. For me, that's awesome. Now, for you guys, again, think about this. You can have somebody that has 25 years of wisdom. 25 plus. You got people writing books with 50 years of wisdom. Imagine that. 10 years. They've done something that you haven't done. Years and years of wisdom and knowledge packed into a book for you, condensed into a book for you, for us. Now, I don't read the fluff books, I'm not gonna lie. I like to read the straight to the point books. Now, again, I have a book filter. I can't read as many, even though I read 25 books a year, I still can't complete as many books as I get recommendations. So what I do is I have a filter. My first rule, which you can apply today, create a list and only add it to your list if, one, that's a person that you want to be in their shoes or at least on that path. 2, if it's coming from someone successful. And then 3, you've heard it like at least 4 times. I say 3 or 4 times. That's my filter. And then after the 4th time, I'm like, okay, I know this is a good book, right? For example, you guys have probably heard of the classics, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door. I mean, there's so many good books out there when it comes to finances. I mean, with health books, relationship books, the 5 love languages. Like, you know, you hear these things and you got to pay attention. You got to put it on your radar. And then if you hear it multiple times, add it to your list. Boom. Okay. Have fun with it though. You don't need to complete every single thing order. Like, oh, I got to complete this. Like, move it up the list sometimes. Have fun with it. Something I really want you guys to remember as you're going through the book vault here today is, again, I'm going to be giving book summaries. You're going to have these wisdom insights that I've taken to improve my life, that have helped me in my life, action steps. And you can make the decision of whether you want to read this book or not. I would recommend that you do read the books because I loved them. And then you can apply it to your life. Now, we're going to go over some books today. Every time you're reading a book, you want to take notes. You want to think about action steps you can take within the first 24 hours, okay? That's something you have to do. Think about what's something I can do today, what's something I can do this week, what's something I can do this month. And then every book you do read, it's going to change your life because you're taking action. That is the most important thing. And start with small books, okay? Audiobooks for me is great because I've turned my car into a university on wheels. I learned this from Tony Robbins. He says net time, net. What does that stand for? It's an acronym that stands for no extra time. This is what I've done. I don't, it's up to you, but what I've done is I've gotten rid of all radio. I've gotten rid of all just listening to music, except for when I'm in the gym. When I'm in the gym, you can't stop me I have to have music to channel my emotions into the gym. And we're going to talk a lot about that in the health category, so keep in touch here. So besides that, if you can just turn your car driving for just 15 minutes a day of listening to a book, you can complete a book a month. In fact, that's what I do. That's how I'm able to complete more than, around 1 to 1.5 books a month because my drive time is audiobook time. Now, some of you guys might think, oh, that's hard for me. Okay. But you have to find time to put it in. Maybe you're watching Netflix at night on the weekends. Replace it. That's what I did. I bought one of the smart TVs. I used to cast my YouTube to the TV, and I would watch YouTube books for free on the TV. I replaced all entertainment with documentaries, with learning. I pay $20 a month towards YouTube, which you can do right away, to get rid of the advertisements, and you can have education. Every time you go online, you're doing it to learn. And or you can be extreme and throw away your TV, and then kind of forces you to come home and listen to a book. Either way. So this is the final last little key here. I'm going to find a book on my bookshelf. We're going to go over a couple nuggets. Again, some action steps you can take today is I'm going to drop some links to some books that are amazing, that are small. Every little book you complete, by the way, which I'm huge on completion of books. Now, some people, they don't believe in that. You know, they like to skim books. That's okay. But for what we do, what I do, is I complete the audiobook from start to finish. Because for me, that gives me a sense of dopamine. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. And I believe men are about achievement. And the more you achieve, the more confidence you get. It's a cascade effect. That's how you build confidence. So start with the small books. Now, what's a small book? It could be a 2-hour book. It could be a 4-hour book. It could be an 8-hour book. I would not go over 8 hours for your first few audiobooks. So you can complete it in about a month or so. And that's another thing too, is your attention span. You want to make sure you're excited. So sometimes I like to do 2 books at once. I'm listening to this book, I get bored, turn it off, I listen to this one, and you just keep flip-flopping throughout the month, and guess what? Eventually the books get completed, and you're like, wow, I completed 2 books this month. Fantastic. And I'm going to include a screenshot this year, or down below as well, of a little system that I like to do. It's called Streaks. If you want to download it, it might have a cost to it, but download it and you can create your own little streaks, and you can keep track of your wins of your books that you do read. You can keep track. So I love that. It kind of makes it into a game. It gamifies it. And if you don't turn this into a game and you don't really believe that you're getting ahead of the other person, then you're not going to believe in it. You're not going to read. You have to really believe that you could be reading a book that has 25 years of knowledge into one book. The biggest mistake that people make is they think they have to learn from their failures. You don't. Okay, you have to learn from failure, but not your own. Who said you have to learn from your own failure? You can learn from someone else's failure. I would not have met my wife if it wasn't for a book. Believe it or not. We're going to talk about that in the love category. We're going to talk about a lot of great books. A lot of my success, a lot of my life has been from books and from learning from other people. So, hey, hold tight. We're going to grab a book real quick. Let's see if we can find it. I may have given this book away. Oh, there we go. This is a great book. I'm going to drop the link if I can find it. But it's called The Millionaire Booklet by Grant Cardone. This is a nice little, small little read. But there are nuggets in this book, okay? Nuggets. Let's pull a few nuggets out here. Okay. Never take advice from a quitter or a pretender. Of course. Okay. Getting rich is not only possible, it is vital to your survival and your ability to help those you love. That is great. I agree with that. Let's see what else we got here. Limitations from shopping at the grocery store to feeding yourself to taking care of your kids and parents and funding yourself through old age, taking care of unexpected setbacks. That's why we need to get rich. Oh man, this is awesome. And as you know, this book is specifically about wealth creation. There's a lot of different books here, but I think he says something in this book where it's like, money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty doesn't buy anything. Yeah, good stuff. Let's see. Look for some other practical things here. See, as you can tell, I've highlighted it to kind of, okay, this is good. This is actually a good exercise. If any of you guys want to do this, this is fantastic. I do believe we should be taking notes and we should be writing as much as possible. This is a great exercise. What I think that everybody should do, which is in the book here, is here's a few ways to make $1 million or to earn it. You could either have a salary of $50,000 of 20 years, which is what most people do, right? So you can become a millionaire on a salary of 50K in 20 years. You can have a salary of 100K for 10 years. You can have a salary of 250K for 4 years. You can earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. You can have 5,000 people pay you or buy a $200 product. You can have 10,000 people buy a $100 product. You can have 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. Wow. Incredible. You can have 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. Wow. See? Now you can see that just little subscription-based types of products can really increase your income right there. What's beneath you is living paycheck to paycheck and never having prosperity. Ooh, yeah. You don't have a money problem, or what is it? You don't have a spending problem, you have a money problem. You have an earning money problem. Yeah, I would agree. You know, you gotta earn more. So anyways, this is a great book, guys. Again, it's pretty cheap on Amazon. It's amazing. This is one of my first books that I read back in 6 years ago when I first started reading. This was like one of the very first ones that I started to read, and I think that you guys can really enjoy this. I'm only going to share books that I have read and that I've applied to my life. And this book is where I learned, like, I should take time at least once a month, once a week, to just sit down and do math equations. What do you mean? I'm bad at math, Colin. Well, I used to be bad at math too. I used to hate doing math as a kid. But guess what? This gets you practicing, gets you thinking about money, gets you thinking about numbers. So you can really understand the numbers. And of course, I'm getting better at it. But like, this is a really good practical book. Let's find one more thing. This is interesting. Similar concept. You're going to find a lot of these principles in each book. Each financial book, if they're good. So remember, this is not financial advice, what I'm about to say, okay? This is from the book. To everybody, a little disclaimer, everybody has their own, should be consulting their own financial advisor. But here's what Grant Cardone has he likes to stay broke. And I've heard this from Pace Morby, a lot of people, where they purposely spend all their money and they invest it and they put it where it needs to be. They live off of a low amount of their income and they invest the rest, and they become super broke on purpose, and that forces them to negotiate and look at their expenses and lower them, and because when you have a lot of money, you tend to overspend when you shouldn't. And so what they do is they purposely spend it first, which is similar concepts in other books, like paying yourself first, and then they're left with like, crap, I don't have enough, so they have to negotiate. And in this case, now I think this is kind of dumb advice, to be honest, however, it just depends. But he says that he would pay, his investments first, and then he was forced to negotiate with his landlord for any extensions of his rent. And everyone was like, dude, I thought he's doing well, but he never had money. It's because he was broke, not poor. There's a difference. So he's not poor in the mind, he's investing, but he's broke in the bank account. And of course, you got to be careful, right? Be responsible. You don't want to be getting kicked out, evicted. But the concept here is that as he continued to stay broke, it allowed him to increase his sales, increase his ability to earn income, invest more, and then it allowed him to negotiate on certain things to save money. And therefore, it allowed him to not do what other people do, which is they never paid themselves first. And they just pay everyone else first, but they don't have anything for themselves. So, good concepts, and really good. So, Millionaire Booklet, Grant Cardone, week 1, and enjoy the book vault. Call this out. Oops. While we are at it, we're gonna add Zig Ziglar's Little Book of Big Quotes. Okay, these are really good to start with. And let's read a couple of quotes here. We have a success category. We have a self-image category. All right. Self-image. If you do not like who you are and where you are, don't worry about it, because you're not stuck there. You're not stuck with who you are, where you are. You can grow, you can change, you can be more than you are. Right on topic. Success. Remember, there's plenty of room at the top, but not enough to sit down. I don't get it, to be honest. Selling is essentially a transference of a feeling. Yes, I agree with that. Let's see what else here. Right here. Too many people spend more time planning how to get a job than on how to become productive and successful in that job. As we always say here, work harder on yourself than you do at your job. Good stuff. The price of success is much lower than the price of failure. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this book. Again, they got success, they have self-image, we got hope. Let's read a couple hope and happiness here. Failure is an event, not a person. Yesterday ended last night. There you go, there's some hope for you. Happiness. The chief cause of failure is unhappiness. Sorry, the chief cause of failure and unhappiness is trading what you want most for what you want now. Interesting. Attitude. Positive thinking will let you use the abilities, training, and expertise you have. Positive thinking will let you use the abilities, training, and experience you have. Okay, I read that wrong. Let's try again. Positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. Good stuff, guys. Zig Ziglar's Little Book of Big Quotes. Add that to the list. If I can find it, I'll put the link below.